Good morning, everybody. You are in the Mortgage Syndicate this morning, but the Pill Method Club is joining forces with the Mortgage Syndicate. And today we have something very, very special, and that is your credit. Your credit should never should always be approved and never denied. Should always be approved and never denied. Oh my goodness. If you want to know more about this, credit guys, I can't even talk this morning. I'm so excited about this subject because I know how important it is. If you want to level up, you need to be able to leverage somebody else's money correctly. And listen, folks, we have some very, very powerful speakers on the stage this morning, and I want to take this time to introduce them to you. But in the meantime, please start inviting people in here. Ping them in. Share the room in the hallway because listen, to be in a position where you can always be approved and never denied on your credit, that is a powerful position. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So raise your hand, get up to the stage, share the room. And we have Miss Dawn Robinson with us this morning. How are you doing, Dawn?
Amazing. How are you? How are everyone? Hey, CG.
Hey Don,
Hey, Dawn,
you
I
still
thought,
in Florida?
Yes, I am.
okay, Dawn, I didn't call you in here to make me be a hater this morning. I've been doing my Bible study, and I want to love everyone. And you got another property down there in Florida, all right, close to the lakeish, okay. And listen, I want to bridge the gap from being a hater to I want to be like you when I grow up. All right, because listen, she has learned how to level up this credit stuff, man, and buying properties and stuff all over the place. And she's barely 40 years old. Are you even 40 yet, Dawn?
Yes, sir. 46. I'm a barely 50 is probably close to the right answer.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the folks and tell them what you're doing?
Hello, everyone. My name is Dawn Robinson, a Money PhD. I help professional women over 40 who are secretly struggling to this money thing know where to start. I am a single mom of twins as a teenager, turned millionaire by age 44. Thought I had done it all right. 401k, 8 months of savings, and 3 rental properties by 31. But I got a bad boss and realized I couldn't afford to quit. And so now I'm on this journey. I paid that off in 17 months, moved to Hawaii for a little bit. And now I'm on this journey to help other women who were like me, right? Making good money, just don't seem how to keep it. And they feel like they've made more money and don't have a whole lot to show for it. I help them start late and finish rich. I believe that you are not financially free until work becomes optional. So that's what I do. And this is who I am. This is Dawn. I'm done speaking. Thanks, Dawn.
Thank you very much, Dawn. Listen, you need to chime in here whenever it seems appropriate on this subject. Miss Crystal Armstrong, how are you this morning? Will you please introduce yourself and tell the folks who you are and what you do?
Good morning, Mr. Don. Good morning, everyone. Rose, I heard you say good morning. I was sharing the room, so I couldn't get back on the screen fast enough. I'm doing well, excited to catch the room early. I feel like I always come in when you are mid-stride or almost wrapping up. So I'm glad you opened early. I'm glad to be here early. And I am an entrepreneur. I've been a full-time entrepreneur for 13 years. My business is 16 years old. And I really just started utilizing business credit on a level that I do now, just like you, Mr. Don, from the knowledge that I have obtained from Clubhouse. And not because I couldn't before, I just never really knew I needed it. And so I would just use the credit I had for things I needed, not really understanding the benefits and the power of the business credit that I could gain just from having great personal credit and utilizing that. So that has helped my businesses grow. It's also helped my businesses expand. And I'm also teaching other people how they can do the same and helping my community. I'm looking forward to getting back to financial literacy workshops in the community to share this information with those who are not on Clubhouse or don't know the spaces exist, and just educating people to help improve those around me because we all benefit when we rise together. And like you said, what's better than one billionaire, two or 200? So I like to sit with winners because the conversation is different and your wins don't sound like you're bragging. That's one of my favorite quotes. And so, thank you for this space. And I'm excited about what we're going to talk about today.
Oh, I love that. Your wins don't sound like you're bragging. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna cop that one. Yes, I love it.
Go ahead, Rose.
It's
Crystal.
in my bio, Rose, because that's like something I live by. It's very different conversation where everybody around you is moving in the same direction and we all have the same
Absolutely.
aspirations. You know, like you said, Mr. Don, there's no stingy energy. We're sharing things that we know are beneficial to one another. And it's always like, well, did you know or have you heard or
Mm-hmm.
what about this? And we always want to make sure we're in the know. So even if you don't need it now, you have it in your arsenal for when you do.
Absolutely. We need to join forces, Crystal. I love having conversations with people that are, forward thinkers, because is that's what it's all about. But thank you. I'll introduce myself and we're going to go ahead and get started because I know this credit talk can go over 2 hours and we want to respect everyone's time. My name is Rosalora Lewis, also known as Credit Goddess. I'm all things credit. I'm a credit score improvement strategist. So not only do I help my clients repair their credit, but through education, I help them optimize and improve their credit so that way they can look good in front of these lenders, always approved and never denied. I'm also a NAV business loan broker. So I am a part of the NAV ecosystem where not only do we have the business credit monitoring that you guys use to monitor your business credit, but we also have products, loan products, credit card products, anything that you need to grow and scale your business, we have it. I'm also a business credit coach. So for those that are stuck or don't even know what to do and how to get started in establishing business credit, I apply the same method as I teach on the personal side, on the business side, so that way you can understand what it is that you need to have in place, structured properly, foundation is set right so that way you can level up to corporate credit. You don't hear a lot of people talk about corporate credit because we're just getting into entrepreneurship. We're just getting into investing a couple of years ago. So we're all trying to level up to that $3 million year mark, right? Employees we've employed individuals. So we haven't gotten to that part yet. And that's the reason why business credit is so, so, so important. And I'm also a credit educator. Like Crystal said, I'm out here in the community because the small businesses, they're the backbone of the economy. That's the reason why they had the PPP and the EIDL loans out here because they're the ones that's keeping the economy going. So I know many of you guys are looking to start your business. You guys are looking to grow and scale your business. You don't want to be the only one because there's so much you're trying to do for your vendors, your clients, or whoever you're working with, and you want to be able to supply more, but you need employees, but you can't do so because you don't have business credit or you don't have the access to funding. So that is what we're going to be talking about here, but we're going to talk about the fundamentals and then we're going to move our way up to business credit if we have time for that. So Don, you have anything to throw in there?
You know I do. You know I do.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And listen, folks, once you get that credit, listen, you want to level up so you can get the credit, but now we're going to show you with the P.I.L.L method, we're going to show you how you can utilize that credit to the maximum. Meaning, how can you pay the least amount of interest that's mathematically possible? Not just borrow the money, but borrow the money at a discount Do you realize that with all the credit that you could get, that we're going to help you to get to understand this morning, people are paying investors, real estate agents, mortgage professionals. I don't care who you are. If you've been a real estate investor for umpteen years, you're paying 75% more interest than you need to on these loans. So listen, get with the P.I.L.L method, cut your interest costs by 75%, and then you'll be able to utilize this credit to the maximum. In fact, so that we don't have to interrupt Rosalora, let's go ahead and mention someone who has taken an advantage of the P.I.L.L method, leveled up their credit, and paid off a mortgage and other debt in record time. I'm talking about Mr. E.T. or Dr. Eric Thomas, who is the #1 motivational speaker, not just in the U.S., but in the entire world. I will need you to listen and hear from him right now. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, and our team created the most powerful money management, wealth building, debt elimination system ever created. At our recent seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, the keynote speech was delivered by the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas. E.T., as he's also known, mentioned he paid off his mortgage in 4 years using the P.I.L.L method. I invite you to watch and listen.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Did you hear that? No mortgage, no stress. If you would like to become debt and mortgage free within an average of 7 to 9 years by cutting your interest costs by up to 75%, go to pillmethod.com and request a savings and earnings report today. You heard that, folks. Get a savings and earnings report today. You want to, I forgot to put my link at the top. Let me go ahead and put that. I'm going to reserve that. Credit Goddess, do you have a link that you need to put at the top today?
I would like to.
Okay, listen, we're going to save that for you then. So, folks, Listen, you want to go to ICE10K.com. It stands for Interest Cancellation Expert, ICE10K.com. And then you'll find a link there that says Get a Savings and Earnings Report. Okay? Once you do that, then click that link. And fill out all the information, follow all the instructions, and then you can know the month, day, and year you could be debt free on all the credit we're going to show you how to get today. Oh, it is fabulous. You want to be in a position where you can get the money and pay back the money at a discount, and then take the money you didn't pay in interest and invest that too. Oh, listen, we're going to set you up perfectly today. So let's jump right in this morning. I want to thank all of our moderators. They're going to be watching the stage for us this morning. Credit Goddess is going to be talking. And listen, raise your hand, come to the stage if you have a question or comment about your credit situation, whether it's yours or someone else's. We need your input today. Credit Goddess will tell you she works much better from questions as opposed to just talking about it. But she loves to talk about it. But bring your questions to the stage, would you please? Credit Goddess, let me start with my first question here. May I?
Sure, go right ahead.
Is this clickbait? Is it your credit should always be approved and never denied? Is that clickbait, or is that a real possibility?
It's a real possibility.
Then talk to us this morning.
All right. All right. Awesome. Okay. So, first off, I want to say that there is no such thing as a credit score. I know, I know some of you guys like, what? No, there's no such thing as a credit score. Um, the history behind it, there was a scientist and a mathematician that came up with this algorithm to help lenders and creditors identify what type of borrower you are without having to look at your long, extensive rap sheet. And if you guys ever pulled your credit report from annualcreditreport.com, you'll see that is like probably like 36, 104 pages of information. So instead of having to go through all of that to determine whether they want to lend to you or not, because it's time consuming, uh, the two gentlemen, Fair and Isaac, and if you guys take the first two letters of their last names, Fair, F-A, I'm sorry, F-A and Isaac, I-S, is that Fair and Isaac? FICO, whichever. FICO is basically their names, the first two letters of their names put together in this FICO, and they came up with the algorithm. Now there's so many different FICO scores. There's the 5, 4, 2 that mortgage brokers use. You have the 8 that is used across the board, especially banks use the FICO 8 to determine whether they want to lend to you. You have the auto score. You have the FICO 9, which they included utilities. That's the reason why you hear about the Experian boost, right? Experian boost. You guys see these commercials. It's allowing you to add your utilities, your rents, your subscriptions, your light, your telephone. So that's the FICO 9. And then they're coming out with the FICO 10. Now, you may not hear about these different types of FICO algorithms because it takes long for the lenders and the creditors to adopt the new algorithm. They're still on the FICO 8, but they're about to move into FICO 9, and FICO 9 came out in 2014. It's like already what, 8 years in? Yeah, we're already 8 years in, and they haven't even adopted the FICO 9. Some have, but majority of them are still using the FICO 8. And then you have the FICO 10 that came out about 2 years ago. And the FICO 10 is going to affect some people and some may not be affected. If you know about the right way of going about establishing credit, you have nothing to worry about. But if you've been tapping into the tips and tricks and hacks, that is not going to work for you, right? The FICO 10T, the T stands for trend. Okay. It's not going to go based on the score. It's going to go based on the trend. And what a trend is when they're going to be looking at your 24-month habit. They're even going to look into when you added an authorized user, when you went through credit repair. Because if you went from a low 500, right, and then you added an authorized user account and it jumped your score to 720 in a month or two, they're going to look closely into that and determine what happened here. Oh, this person added an authorized user. Oh, this person went through credit repair. So they can see all of that within the last 24 months. That is what the FICO 10 is what it's going to be. So before they start adopting this algorithm, I want you guys to know exactly what you need to do organically. This is the reason why I talk about organic build out. You will never hear me talk about tips and tricks.
Okay, let me talk about that for just a second.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Credit goddess,
Yes.
why not tips and tricks, and what does that mean as opposed to sound borrowing principles? What's the difference?
I'm sorry, repeat that again.
What's the difference between the tips and tricks that we should stay away from and sound banking or borrowing principles?
The difference is that when you go through the sound principles is that you're going according to their guidelines and what they're looking for. You will meet their guidelines, right? Because it was actually organically built, you know. Instead of going the tips and tricks route. That's as simple as I can explain it.
Okay, so what you're saying is if you know the rules to the game, you can make your credit profile or what the credit companies are looking for, you can make yourself look as good as possible. If you follow the principles, then you can actually put yourself in a position where you are always approved and never denied. And are you going to be talking about some of those principles today?
I am. You know, I'm going to have to touch on those principles because it's what it's all about. It's about principles.
Oh, listen, I want to be always approved and never denied. And folks, let me tell you something here. As far as Credit Goddess is concerned, I'm not just a promoter. I didn't just ask her to come in here to talk to you. I'm actually one of her clients. Okay? I'm actually one of her clients because having a great credit profile is work. Okay? And she has the time and the expertise to perform that work. So listen, we're gonna have you're gonna have your information up online, so people who are watching us live on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on YouTube will be able to see your information as well, Credit Goddess, so they can get a hold of you. And we usually talk about that towards the end. How do you get a hold of it? No, we want it from the beginning to the end, how to get a hold of you. So if somebody has to leave early, could you just tap in how they can get a hold of you, and then we'll jump right in, Credit Goddess?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I know a lot of you guys got to go to church. So if you guys want to tap in with me, it's preferred that you text the number in my bio. Send your name and email address to 888-557-5778. That's 888-557-5778. That's the best preferred method to contact me.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, folks, you heard it. Somebody will take that and put it in the chat as well. 88. Did you say 888?
I got it.
Okay. 888-557-5778. All right. All right, Credit Goddess. I don't want any more tips and tricks. I want to learn some sound principles on what we can do to put myself in a position to get always approved and never denied.
All right. So first things first. Now I'm more of like an engaging person. I like to engage with my audience, not just listen in, because if you're not listening, then you're not paying attention. And the only way to keep you guys engaged is if you answer some questions with me. Let's engage together. So first off, I want to know like who I have in the audience, because sometimes I could be preaching to the choir, and I want to know who needs the help. So one, if your credit score is over at 680, I want you guys to put the 1 in the chat. If your score is under 680, then put a 2 in the chat. Ooh, Emerson, go ahead. Thank you for that. Listen, I didn't have my coffee this morning. I couldn't even figure out where the F and the I and the CO came from, but you got it, Emerson. That's FICO. Awesome, Derek. Awesome. Good job. Awesome. Ice, I already know you have it. Hey, Crystal. Chioma. Okay. Okay. Awesome. 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 Any more? I know we have more people in the room. Go ahead. Press the 1. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I do not judge people with their credit by their credit score. I already told you there's no such thing and why they came up with the credit score. A credit score is a number calculated based on the information in your credit report, and it helps lender predict how likely you are to repay a loan. So if you haven't tapped into the credit game, then I don't blame you for having a low score. It's just a matter of what do we need to do to get those numbers up. So that's what I'm going to be talking to you about. Some of you guys are probably just afraid to tap into credit, but I'm going to help you and empower you and let you know there's nothing wrong with credit. Credit is just the opposite of debit. That's all it is. But there are some things that you need to put in practice where you trust yourself. And once you trust yourself, the banks will be able to trust you. That's it.
All right.
It. I'm gonna keep it that simple.
Based on that, Rose, there are those that are actually teaching and preaching online in books that credit is evil and cash is good. All right. Right. So what's our take in the P.I.L.L Method Club? And what does credit got to say about credit is evil and cash is good?
Listen, cash is king, and you guys hear that a lot. I agree with that. But credit is queen. If you guys ever played the board, the chess, right? The queen piece can move in all directions freely, but the king can only move front, back, side to side. That's it. One step forward, one step back, one step to the side, one step to the left, right? So, but the queen can move diagonally. She can move across. She can do whatever. That's freely. But if you have both together, imagine what you can do. The queen protects the king. And you might say, well, how does that? What does that mean? Meaning that you can leverage the queen and protect your cash, right? Your queen is credit and protect your cash. You don't have to dispose all of your cash into something, because when you run out of cash, what happens? Oh, you're welcome, Emerson. If you like, say for instance, you have $100,000 in the bank, you don't have any credit, and you use all of your $100,000 that took you 12 years, probably 15 years to save, right? With our, with the active income that we're doing, if we're not investing, and you decided to go into business, or you decided to go into investing, and you dish all of your funds, what are you left with? You're strapped now. You have no movement. You can't move freely because you don't have any credit. But you can protect your cash by keeping that in the bank, and then you leverage other people's money. You use that to make more money, babies, the king and the queen. Make
Come
more
on.
money, babies, and those babies can be added on top of the 100,000, right? And you rinse and repeat. As long as you have a plan. I always say, never use credit unless you have a plan on how you're going to pay it back, because it's just the opposite of debit. Debit, when you swipe that bank card and you say debit, what happens, y'all?
Yep, they take my money out the bank.
Right away, right? But when you say credit, what happens?
I gets money.
You get the item right now, and you
Yes.
get to pay back later. It's not free money, you guys. It's not free. You just delayed the payment. You're saying, hey, wait. Can I get this sofa right now? But can I pay you back next Friday? And you just got to make sure you come up with the funds next Friday. Or say, for instance, the sofa is $1,000 and you have $2,000 in the bank. I'm just using this for demonstration. You have $2,000 in the bank and you want to get the sofa for 1,000. Okay. And then you use your cash and you're left with 1,000. But if you put it on credit, you can make payments in 6 months. You can make the payments in 3 months, right? Break it up into say 4 payments. That's $250 every month until it's paid off. Instead of having to dish out all of the 1,000. I know I hear this a lot where people say, "Well, I'd rather just pay it off because I don't like the ideas of payments." Why don't you? Why you don't like the idea of payments? Let's wake that up. Why? Because you don't want to be, because what's the fear? Because let's identify fears, because that's where it's stemming from. Why you don't like the idea of payments? Because if we wake that part up, maybe we need to look into how we're managing our money. Are you always in the red every month? Because we don't know how to activate and multiply. Okay, Emerson. Yes. Okay. So that's another conversation, but we need to identify what is the fear. Why don't we? And I want you guys to write that down and open that up, so that way you can be real with yourself. Because once we're real with ourselves, then we know where the solutions will come in, like what we need to do to apply, because we believe that cash is king and best for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want you guys to know that debit and credit is synonymously the same. It's just that with debit, it comes out right away. With credit, you pay back later. So let's identify, let's get our budget together, let's get our money management together, and that way we can leverage other people's money with the confidence that we're going to be able to pay back. And I'm going to identify with you guys. Oh, hold on. Oh, that's my Alexa reminding me to drink water. Hold on, you guys.
I'm gonna
All
drink.
right, so
I'm gonna drink my water too. There is a question in the chat. Do you teach teens and new graduates out of high school?
Yes, that is actually coming, D Jones. That is actually coming. You know what? If you can message me in the back channel that you're interested, if you have the teens, if you have the graduates, I don't mind showing up. It does take a minute to have to like put that stuff together. But if I can get the community to bring the folks to me, what they say, if the students are ready, the teacher will appear, is that concept. Right. I don't want to look for the students. If you guys come as a community and bring the students and the teens to me, then yes. All right, great. All right, awesome. Okay, so here, some quick reference to credit. I want you guys to write in the chat what hurts your credit score. What can hurt your credit rating and your score? Too many hard inquiries can. Type that in the chat. Too many hard inquiries. Too many hard inquiries. Collections can hurt your credit. There you go, Don. I was getting to that one. Late payments can hurt your credit. High balances can hurt your credit. Slow pay, Gregory. Yes, slow pay. I'm glad. And you know what? I'm gonna talk about that slow pay. Okay, not having enough credit, diversity can also hurt your credit. Maxing out your credit card. Yep. Debt to income, wonky. Not enough credit mix. Not enough credit mix can hurt your credit. Okay. So let's talk about that, because once you guys understand that, then you will understand how your scores are calculated. And let me break down how your scores are calculated based on the FICO algorithm. There's 5 categories. And I want you guys to write this down for anyone that's coming in on the replay, and for those that are coming in late, they can see what you guys are noting in the chat. Is the replay on? Yes, it is on, D. Okay, so there's 5 categories that makes up your credit score. 35 well, let's start with this. The lowest credit score you can get is a 300. The highest credit score you can get is an 850. If we were to subtract 300 from 850, we have 550 points we can gain or lose.
Okay, let's stop right there. I mean, that's
All right.
valuable, all right? But it is so valuable, I think a lot of people need to hear it, not just the 65 folks we have in the room. And folks, I know you get tired of hearing this, but I can't help myself. We got 17 shares. Let's get those shares up to at least 25 so other people can hear this too. Would you please help us to share the room, to get it out into the hallway so other people can see that people who follow you will come in and see what you're learning and writing this down. So I love that first tip. But listen, I need to can we get to 25 so we can get the other 4? Oh my goodness, here they come. Oh my goodness, here they come. I want to thank you for sharing the room. Okay, I want to thank O'Shane and Mia Mam and Bernadette Fletcher and Deanna Banks and Lennox Santana. Oh my goodness. And Brandon, thank you very much. And Adair, thank you so much. And Rodriguez, thank you so much. Deanna Banks, Don Robinson. Okay. Crystal, thank you so much. All right, folks. Thank you for sharing the room. Thank you for sharing the room. We appreciate you so very much. And we are at 28 shares. Thank you. Okay. I'm sorry for interrupting, Credit Goddess, but continue, please.
All right. Okay, so you have 550 points you can gain or lose. Okay. 35% of the 550 is 192.5 points. Write that in the chat. 35% of the 550 points is 192.5 points. This is your payment history. But if we split that 35% in half, 17% of it, 17% is your on-time payments. And the other 17% is affected if you have any of the late payments, if you have collections, if you have a bankruptcy, if you what's the other one? medical bills, repossessions. If you have any of that, it's affecting that 35%. And let me tell you this, guys. The reason why I teach both, I do both the services, and this is a difference between a credit repair company and a credit restoration company. A credit restoration company understands that there are two parts to credit repair. The credit repair is to correct anything that's reporting inaccurately, that's unverifiable, and that's affecting that 35% that I'm talking about. Or sometimes it can affect the other categories that I touch into. But we also know that just getting deletions off your credit is not going to boost your score up to 700. And this is the reason why I'm breaking down the numbers for you, right? Is it just getting things deleted is not going to boost your score. You want to get things deleted if you're trying to tap into a much better if you're trying to tap into like a premium card or a bank card, okay? Because they have their guidelines. Kind of look at it like this. I'm going to paint this picture, and Emerson, I know you're going to like this one. I look at you as someone that's trying to do business or trying to start a new relationship with a new banking institution or a financial institution. So it's like going into or getting uh, it's like a recruitment. You want to get recruited to the best of the best, and the best of the best have requirements. They have guidelines that you want to meet, and your credit profile is your financial resume. Just like you want your resume to look really nice to get that six-figure job and plenty of references. It's the same concept when you're trying to tap into banking institutions like American Express, Chase, Citi, right? Or if you're trying to tap into business credit, you want to make sure that your financial resume is what they want to see and what they're looking for to get approved. This is all a part of being approved and never denied. Okay. So not having enough experience, or if your credit profile is not diversified with different types of relationships, then it's going to be hard for you to tap into the banking institutions or the financial institutions that you want to build a relationship with. Like, don't aim too high if you haven't established that experience yet. So I hope you guys understand the concept. So when I say it's not about the credit score, it's more about your profile. That's what I mean. Focus on the profile. Building the profile is what's going to take time, and it's not an overnight thing. And this is the reason why people do tips and tricks and hacks, because they don't want to go through the organic build out. And they're figuring this out, and that's the reason why they're changing the algorithm, and the FICO 10T came out, because they realize that we're sharing the tips and tricks and hacks, and no one's really putting in the time to build out organically. Thank you, Derek. Okay, this is the reason why I rather teach organically, so that way if they do pull the rug from under our feet and change the guidelines and change the requirements, we know how to pivot. Because if you don't know how to do it organically, you would not know how to pivot. Okay, you'll be stuck not knowing what to do. All right, Mia. Great. Okay, so 35% of the 550 makes up the 192.5, which is your payment history. Half of that 35% is your on-time payments. The other half, if you have any negative, is being taken by those negative accounts. So when you go to a credit repair company, they're only touching that 17%. They're only touching that 17%, which is affecting the 17% of the 192 that you could gain, right? Now imagine if you have 100% on-time payment and no derogatory, like the ones that put the one in the chat. You guys don't have any derogatory, so you have maximized this category, which is 192. If we add that on top of the 300, what score do we have? If we're just counting on-time payments, 300 plus 192, what do we have? Type it in the chat. There you go, Emerson. First one to go. Okay, so 492, 492.5 to be exact. 492.5. So when people say, all you got to do is pay your bills on time, well, it only makes up 35%. Okay, now let's talk about the second largest part of your credit, which is the amount owed on your credit card. Okay, so if you don't have a credit card, you're actually missing out on some points here because it scores you based on how much credit you have left. Now, I would talk about the scorecard, but I don't want to confuse you guys. But let's just say this: if you don't have a credit card, you're missing out on 165 points. So let's just say that. But if we want to dive deep and talk about scorecards, it's totally different in the FICO algorithm. But 30% of 550 is 165 points. So for those of you guys that are afraid to get a credit card because you don't want to go into debt, is not really meant for you to go into debt because they score you based on how much credit you have left. If you max out your credit card, that is one of the reasons why your scores will drop. So if you know how to use your credit cards properly and you know when to pay it, you can actually maximize this category and get the maximum score in this. Okay. So don't be afraid of credit cards. You just need to know how to use it.
All
Third
right,
part.
that's a good place to pause, just in
Okay.
case you need to get a drink of water. I'm going to jump in every now and then to give you a slight break if I can, Credit Goddess, because I know
Thank
you've got a lot of information. So we have two new moderators that just came to the stage. We have Donna and Karine. Donna, will you tell us who you are and what you do, please, if you are available?
That was on point. I just shared. Good morning, everyone. Donna England here, located in Canada. I'm a business purpose loan broker. I'm an assisted living, independent living owner operator, and I'm here to add value and to learn. So that's about Donna. If you want more information on all my lending needs and if you need money, there's Credit Goddess who's going to optimize your credit, and I'll help you with the structure, and I can lend you all the money that you need. Don't be afraid. Check my bio. Thank you, Donna, and I'm done speaking.
All right, all right. Thank you for being here this morning, Donna. And Karine, how are you doing?
Hey Don, I'm doing great. How are you and how's everybody here?
Oh man, listen, I am doing fabulous. Would you please introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what you do, please?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here in this space, Don. It's always a pleasure to be in your room that you host. I don't know if you do this every Sunday, but have a blessed Sunday, everybody. My name is Karine Mills, and I'm a money making mentor. I host everybody inside Karine.club, which is the number one money making, money keeping, and money multiplying club that promotes financial literacy. Credit is such a huge thing in financial literacy through parents and adults in order to pass on generational wealth because I really truly believe that it's not just passing the shiny objects, rather the education that sustains it throughout the generations to come. So excited to be here. Of course, Rose, you're the master of credit. I'm excited to hear all of your genius. Thanks, Dawn.
You are so welcome. So, Credit Goddess, you let us know when you're ready to jump back in there. And, folks, right now, I have questions. I'm trying not to throw all my questions out there and get in your way. Even I have questions this morning. So, if I have questions, I know you all have questions. And I need you to know this right now. Credit Goddess, would you please let folks know, is this a safe space to ask any question they want?
It's a safe space.
So no one will be
It's a
embarrassed
safe
about
space.
their question?
No, not at
All
all. You guys
right.
understand. It's really not about the credit score. I don't want you guys to focus and harp on the credit score. It's about the profile. So I want
Okay.
you guys to come up and talk
Come
to
on
me
up
about
and
the credit.
talk, folks, and get your questions answered. And if we could talk about somebody, see if we have something to talk about, then Credit Goddess can actually teach the same concepts with a subject that is brought by you, and we could teach the same concepts. Okay, so listen, not only help yourself, but help others by bringing your question to the stage. Please raise your hand and come on up. Credit Goddess, are you ready to jump back in?
I am ready to jump back in.
Let's
Yes.
go.
All right. So 15% of your credit is the length of credit history. All right. The length of credit history makes up 15%. So 15% of 550 is 82.5 points. Now, here's the part where I say let's not harp so much on the credit score, because this category right here is always going to have you having a heart attack. Having a heart attack, and even the inquiries will have you guys have a heart attack, because anytime you get a new inquiry, your score would drop. Anytime you get a new credit card or a new account placed on your profile, your scores would drop. But guess what? It goes back up. So it's like a heartbeat, right? It's like a heartbeat until it's flat and steady. But it's flat and steady once you have established all the relationships that you wanted to build. You know, when you're trying to look for a particular card that, you know, whether it's an American Express Gold, or you know, whether it is a Discover card or a City card, you guys want to know, like, is this the best card? So once you apply, your scores will drop, because now it's going to push you from having an average 6 years to maybe drop you down 2 years, depending on how many accounts that you have, and then divided by, or divided by the years that you have, which then gives you your average score. So this 82.5 is always going to go up and down, right? So when people are afraid to apply because they want to just stay at that score, it's like, no, we have to establish more. So let's not harp so much on the credit score. It's just based on the information that's on your credit profile that spits out this number, right? When I say there's no such thing, those are two separate things. Your consumer reports is with Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. They did not come up with FICO. It's just an algorithm. When you go to myfico.com, it pulls the information from the three credit reporting agencies, picks up all the data, and spits out a number. That's all it does. So don't focus so much on it. All right, so that's 15%. 15% getting all 82.5, you need 12 years of consistent credit. So 12 years from this year is what? 2034. You need,
So there's no, so at that piece that you're talking about, there's no way to get there except to have credit for 12 years.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
All
So,
right.
all right. So the tips and the tricks are not going to get that for you, folks. Go ahead, credit goddess. Come on.
Organically is not going to get that for you, because it takes time. And this is the reason why the tips and tricks come in, because this is where you can actually pull data points from, right? If you were to, piggyback off of your mother that had a Discover card for the past 15 years, and then you piggyback off of her, so her data becomes your data too. And then you get the points, the data points from that category. That's where it boosts up. Okay. Or adding another card to add to the mix of the diversity of your credit profile. So if you had four cards all together, or four accounts all together, and then your mom adds you on to her card, now you have 5 cards. And then you pull some points from the next data point that I'm talking about, which is the types of credit that you have, right? So this is where you're pulling data from. But when a lender and when we going through underwriting, when they go through underwriting, they can see all of that. This is when they they pull the microscope and they start looking and identifying where the score is coming from. So the score is just the book cover, you guys. That's how I like to use. That's the analogy I like to use. The score is just the book cover. So when I say I don't judge based on your credit score, I'm not going to judge you based on your credit score. Never judge a book by its cover, because when you open up that book, it says something real nice, or it doesn't have enough. There's not enough. There's not a story to tell about you and your relationships and your ability to manage them, your payment history, and all the whole nines that we're talking about. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the fourth category that makes up 10%. It's the types of credit. Types of credit, there's 3 types. You have revolving, which are credit cards. You need about 5 or 7 of those. 5 or 7. All right. And this is a profile of a 720 credit score or more. 5 or 7 of those. And then you have installments. Installments are auto loans, student loans. I would say a mortgage is one, but a mortgage stand on its own. But installment loans, personal loans, student loans, auto loan. Those are installments. And then the third one is the mortgage. So that's the trifecta. Having those 3 types of profiles types of accounts on your credit profile, you've completed the trifecta. You have optimized your credit profile by having these three types of accounts on your credit profile. You need about 5 or 7 credit cards. You need about maybe 1 or 2 installments, and it could be paid off too, because they like to see paid off installment accounts. That's establishing a solid resume, is when you can actually show that you have paid off something, because that opens up new opportunities, better rates, and better terms when they can actually see that you successfully paid off something. All right. And then you need about 2 of those, but many of you guys have student loans, believe it or not, and it's multiple. You've gone through to a 4-year college, and each semester you pulled out a loan. So that's like a minimum 8 different student loans, right? Subsidiary, unsubsidized, and subsidized. You probably have a total of maybe like 16. It's not a bad look, because to diversify your credit profile on that 10%, which makes up 55 points, you need 21 plus accounts. It could be open or closed. And believe it or not, those negative accounts, that counts towards it too. So when you remove a negative account off your credit, you lose points there too, because it was part of the history. It was negative, but it was part of the history. Another reason why I say don't focus so much on score, because I get a lot of people that say, oh my gosh, you removed 5 items and my score still dropped. Why? Because it was part of your history. And this is the reason why I'm breaking down the 5 categories, so that way you guys can understand where your points are coming from, whether they're positive accounts or negative accounts. It all counts part of your credit score.
Wait a minute. Wait a
Go,
minute.
go
Credit
ahead.
goddess. Are you saying that by working with you or someone like you and doing some of the things that I should do, my credit score may drop, but my credit profile will improve?
Yes.
You mean I can wait a minute. Wait, let me ask it this way then. My credit score can drop, but by improving my credit profile, I can increase my chances of getting approved.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, we need to hear more of this. Folks, if you're not sharing this room, if you're not writing this stuff down, oh my goodness, you need to come on. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So you see where you should always be approved and never denied come from. You can always be approved, right? And it's just identifying how the scores are calculated. Once you understand how the scores are calculated, then you will know how to make your moves. It's calculated moves. They're calculated moves. It's calculated. It's that you have this score, and then you can go out and go get this type of credit card, because you need to know, are you in the best position to make that go, right? So it's all calculated. You have to understand how the scores are calculated to do so, and also how to position yourself to be able to get to the premium cards, right? I hear these relationships room when they say they want a high value man. Okay, so we have to be high value if we want high value cards. So you need to have a high value credit profile. Okay, you need to have a high value credit profile. So what does that look like? It's all about who you are associated with. If you're associated with subprime cards, it's going to be very difficult to get you the high level cards like American Express and Chase, right? Because you were going for the low value cards, the low value cards that won't even, you can't even graduate or level up to, all because you thought that if I was to get a credit card, my score is going to go up to 700, when you could have just had a relationship or expand your relationship with your bank.
So all cards are not created equal?
No, they're not created equal. So when people focus so much on the score, which I say, set aside the score, because it's not about the score. It's about your profile and who you are associated with is what matters. Is what matters. Okay. All right, so I went through the 5 categories. So 35% makes up payment history, 30% makes up the debt amount owed on your credit cards, 15% makes up the length of credit history, 10% makes up the type of cards or credit cards or type of credit that you use. I would say diversity of your credit profile. And then 10%, the other 10% is if you have new accounts or not. Now, here's where people are afraid to apply for credit. And this is the reason why you need to understand the calculations and also understand is in moderation and why you can't really speed up the process when you're trying to get to a certain score. And again, see, we focus so much on score instead of focusing on the relationships that we're building. Okay. That's all vanity metrics. Focus on the relationships that you're building. When you are applying for way too much credit, you look desperate. In a relationship, in a dating pool, what we call that? Thirsty. You
Thirsty.
seem thirsty.
Thirsty.
You seem thirsty. Okay, so imagine if you were in a room of 20 people and you see this person going around with their hand out. Can can I borrow 20? Can I borrow 20? And every single last person said no. And by the time they get to you, you're gonna say no too, because it was like, what was the reason why they said no? I'm gonna say no too. So it's the same concept when it comes to inquiries. You don't want to have all these inquiries in a short period of time, especially if it didn't resort to an open account. It's not a good look. So to avoid wasting all of these points that you're losing, applying here and applying there, and you're not doing it in the proper sequence, right? You're not, you haven't been optimized, or you have all these authorized users on your account and you were trying to go for the high value cars and you got denied because you I don't want to say it's like you're cheating to get your way up there, but I mean you can get in there, but eventually your habits, your money habits, and the way that you're using the cards, it can tell that you're abusing it, especially if you don't know how to use it, and it will get snatched real quick. The limits would get slashed, or the cars would get snatched. You don't hear a lot of people talk about that when they got in that way with the tips and tricks and hacks. They don't talk about that part. Everyone's focused so much on getting approved, but it's about maintaining the relationship too, that you don't hear a lot of people talk about. Maintaining the relationship, which is why I'm so big on education, because when we're trying to level up to business credit, you're going to need to make sure that that personal credit is where it needs to be too, to then tap into the business credit side. Okay, so all of this information matters. Now, anybody have any questions? I do see some questions in the chat. Yes, you got to please the underwriter. Yes, Sean. What are some of the high level cars again? Okay, so some of the high level cars: American Express, Chase, Citi, Discover, and then your major your credit card. I'm sorry, your credit unions, community banks. Any banking institutions are considered high level because they have different types of levels. You have some that would that have different tiers. Like you have Discover that have cards for people that are looking to build. The reason why you want to tap in with Discover or any institutions that have different tiers is because that way you can level up and graduate to. What I find that a lot of people do is they'll. My mom's smiling. Oh, hold on, my mom's calling me.
All
Go
right,
ahead,
folks.
Sean.
Rose,
Hold on.
Rose,
I'll be
can I
back.
chime in?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Don. I just wanted to say to the room, because we got the question of what are the high level cards, is that make sure you tap into Rose's first before you go on and just go online and apply for all of those high level cards, because we always assume we're gonna get it. Note the word that Rose used was calculated. You have to be calculated before you knock on these high level bank, high level cards door. And there's a lot of pre-work you have to do to guarantee approval. So make sure that you definitely connect with Rose before you do any of that, because you're going to waste your bullet, which is the inquiries on your credit, and it's going to affect your credit adversely. Back to you, Don.
All right, folks. We're just wait for Credit Goddess to be ready to jump back in here. Credit Goddess, flash your mic when you're ready to go, and we're going to get you right back in here, folks. You've heard a lot of information. All right, already this morning. We've been in here 1 hour. We're going to be in here for 1 hour more. That's it. Okay, for one more hour, please share the room. You are in the Mortgage Syndicate Club. If you're not a member of this club, go ahead and tap that green mansion at the top and join this club. The mortgage syndicate talks about all things real estate, and part of real estate is credit. All right. And we also have the P.I.L.L Method Club in here. So if you want to know more about the P.I.L Method Club, tap my profile. All right. Upper left, P.I.L Method, tap my profile, go all the way down and find the P.I.L Method Club and join the club as well. Follow your moderators. We have some really good information on this stage. We have some, that's my alarm. Okay. We have some really good, folks on the stage with really great information. All right. Follow all of your moderators and click that always notification bell so that when they're speaking, you can be in the room as well and continue to level up your knowledge. All right. So also, folks, you want to just so that we can give Credit Goddess some time to get in here. Anyway, she's ready to get back in. So, folks, I want to share with you something that we're also going to be able to provide for you is how to pay the money back and do it faster and cheaper. If you have student loans, Credit Goddess mentioned student loans. Don't worry about them. If you can't get them all forgiven, then the average person on the P.I.L method pays off their student loans in 5 to 7 years. If you're making payments on your student loans right now, we can show you how to pay them off in 5 to 7 years on average. Some a little sooner, some a little longer, but that's the average. So don't let the student loans bother you. Don't let your mortgage bother you. Don't let your other debts bother you, because it's the interest on the debt that turns them into long-term obligations. Cut your interest cost and you can pay the debt off faster, because with interest cancellation techniques, you've just made the debt cheaper. And if you want to know the basics of all of this, if you want to know the basics, then go to Amazon and you can find my book, The P.I.L Method. All right. Find the P.I.L Method, a better way to eliminate debt. And out of 33 million titles, it is the only title on Amazon that talks about interest cancellation and how to make your debt cheaper and optimize your interest savings. Someone asked, how can they see this online? You can see it if you go to YouTube. You can find us under the P.I.L Method channel. Everything is P.I.L Method. So if you go to YouTube, if you go to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, doesn't matter. Just search P.I.L Method and our information will come up, and you can also watch us live right now. And if you're online, you see a copy, a picture of my book. So get the book, get the information, and then once you get the credit, Credit Goddess, I think you got some more information for us, and you level up. Now let's pay it back. Let's pay it back cheaper by getting your credit at a 75% discount. Not interest rates, but interest cost. There is a vast difference. Credit Goddess, back to you.
Thank you. You know what? I had to go move the car out the garage, but I'm back. I'm back, you guys. But thank you so much, Karine. I heard your response. That exactly. I don't want anyone to lose the bullet by applying for cars and they are not in position to do so, especially if they're trying to level up to, you know, the top tier cards. You need to make sure that your credit profile is optimized. So yeah, I love that you said don't waste the bullet, because we tend to do that. We got to wait 2 years, or we want to get them removed and things like that. Now here's the thing about getting inquiries moved, and I'm gonna just be straight up honest with you guys. So inquiries are inquiries. All right. You can have multiple inquiries on your credit profile, but it's all about the moderation, right? You don't want to have too many inquiries done at one time, and especially the different types of categories. You have inquiries on auto, you have inquiries on credit cards, you have inquiries on mortgage. They're all different. If I was to break this down to you guys, you have your head spinning. So I don't want people focused so much again on inquiries. It's just moderation, and the moderation comes from, what are your goals? Because I ask people this when they come to me, when they want a consultation and we're going over my services and what they want to do. I ask them, what are your goals? Because everyone's goals are different. Everyone's credit profile is different. It's like coming to a doctor, right? I feel like I'm the credit doctor, like scratch credit goddess. I'm the credit doctor, right? And sometimes I can be a surgeon. If a surgeon is getting stuff removed off your credit, so that way you can be in a better position to have a healthy credit and things like that. Like, that's how I look at it when it comes to the doctor. You don't want to just perform surgery on your own and you don't know what you're doing, right? Sometimes we go and try to dispute inquiries off our credit because we want to go and apply for something else, and we got way too many credit, and then we go and apply and remove the inquiry that was tied to an open account, and that account gets shut down. When you want to get things off your credit, you want to use the positioning of, is reporting inaccurately, or can you verify this? If they can't verify it, it gets removed. Now, this is positioning the law, the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Anything that's on your credit has to be 100% accurate, complete, verifiable, and reported in a timely manner. If it's not any of that, it gets removed. Now, some of these accounts on your credit profile are true, right? They're true. So what do we need to do? Especially if it's an account with an original creditor. If it's an account with an original creditor, I've seen some credit profiles that have original creditors like Chase, American Express, and such. What do you say? I want to hear the folks in the audience. If you have, if in the past you had a relationship with the premium cards, what do you suggest an individual do with those accounts? Do you want them to get it removed, or do we make amends? Because I'm speaking on a
I,
relationship level.
I'd make amends.
Okay. Why are we making amends, Donna?
I'd want to make amends because you want to build that relationship once you go back. Because at times I've seen here in Canada where, and I think it's the same thing. It's not about here in Canada or the United States, where you would go back and they do not want to do business with you because there's a record showing that there has been an account that went bad.
There you go. You guys hear that? And I'm speaking from I'm speaking from a transparency level, because a lot of people do not understand what credit repair means. And we have these high expectations when we hire someone, or we have this expectation that we want this thing removed off our credit, but we're not thinking about what's happening on the other side. If you get an item removed off your credit, one, it does not mean that you're no longer obligated to the debt. Did y'all know that? One, if you knew that. Two, if you didn't. One, if you knew that. Two, if you didn't. Just because an item gets removed off your credit doesn't mean you're no longer obligated to the debt.
Wow, that's good to know. Listen,
Yeah.
while you're talking about that, while you're talking about people who do this for a living, help people with their credit, there are a lot of people out there that are doing it. It seems like everybody and their brother, okay,
Yes.
and their sister, and all their little cousins, okay.
Yeah.
They're doing this thing, but you pointed out the other day that the credit reporting agencies are catching on. And what are they doing to individuals who use these services, but these services aren't aware of how to do it correctly? What is happening with these requests for these removals? What's going on with them, Credit Goddess?
Did you guys know that the credit reporting agencies are throwing your dispute letters away without an investigation?
Yes.
What?
Did you know that?
Yep. Yep, they don't have the manpower to fix, I mean, to entertain everybody.
No, but listen to this, Karine. They're actually throwing it at not the manpower because they have the e-Oscar. The e-Oscar is the automated machine that responds to your letters. You know, it puts a 2, 3 digit code on your letter and it responds automatically. The goal is when you are disputing anything that's on your credit, you want a human to read your letter. So you don't want to use templates. You don't want to use templates because
Oh
they
yeah.
okay. They identified the same jargon that everybody else is using. So when they pick that up, they throw that away because it's like, okay, you either a credit repair company or you don't know what you're actually disputing, right? That happens. Yep, Tamara. When they see different zip codes, when they like, I'm in Florida. So if I'm disputing for someone outside of Florida or even outside of my city, what they do is that they compare the zip code on the stamp versus what I wrote or wrote on it. So my thing is I don't write the address on the letter. I don't write the return address on the letter because the return address is inside the letter, not on the envelope. That's a way to get over that because when they're comparing that and they see that, they throw it away without opening it up, you guys. So when you're working with someone, and this is to save all of the credit repair organizations that's in the audience or listening in on a replay, when you guys are like, I didn't get a response, that is what you need to notify whoever's working on your credit. You need to let them know that you haven't received anything because it's a conversation back and forth. It's like pigeon mail. You know, back in the day when we didn't have a mail system and you send off a bird to send off the letter, we got to wait for the response. So if you're not receiving a response, then we need to send out a letter and say, hey, we sent out a letter 30 days ago, especially if they're sending it off certified, and certified mail is expensive. I pay about almost $7 per per letter to
Wow.
each credit reporting agency and creditors and collection agencies. It's a
Okay,
lot.
okay, credit got it. So
What?
Arrows.
Yes.
here's what I'm hearing. Here's what I'm hearing is that that credit reporting agencies are throwing stuff away. You've got to wait, and then you find out that there is no response, and that there's something you can definitely do about it. We want to hear what can be done about it right after this. Okay, so be prepared, everybody. But if you want to hear what you can do about it when the credit reporting agencies are not responding to you, what can you do? I got 47 shares. I've got 105 people in here. That's definitely not enough shares. Can I get a few more shares in here so that we can invite some more people in here so that they can hear what can be done when the credit reporting agencies aren't responding to you? Oh, because that is a serious thing. That's a serious thing when people do that. And Credit God is going to tell you what to do. So listen, I got 48 shares. I need a few more shares in here, but I got some new moderators on the stage. And I've got Giuseppe and I've got Miki here. Miki, are you available to talk to us this morning and to share who you are and what you? Yes, she is. Miki, will you
Yes,
introduce yourself
ma'am.
and tell the folks who you are and what you do?
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. When I saw these wonderful names, I knew I had to jump in just to listen, and I have already learned something. So I'm Miki Gabriel, securities licensed professional, been in the industry about 30 years, transitioning to a financial strategist to help people achieve their level of financial freedom. Have a room on Clubhouse every Friday and Sunday, Wealth Financial Flowers, together along with a sophisticated investor and estate planning attorney. We cover topics related to comprehensive wealth management. So glad that credit is being discussed today because this is pertinent and imperative to have a proper journey to financial freedom. So happy to be here.
Thank you so very much. And remember, folks, at the outset, in the beginning, when I told you that real estate investors really have their their claws into this thing. They understand this thing backwards and forwards. And real estate investors really want to be able to level up on their business credit. And someone who is doing that, who has over, this is over, Giuseppe, you have over 500 doors and you are using business credit. How important is it to you and what you're doing in real estate investing?
Let me tell this because it's experience of the last week, okay?
A little louder, Giuseppe.
Let me explain this because why I'm here in this room. Because you can have a 500 door, but if your lender are not expert, you can pay high interest, okay? I bought in September, I bought 6 cars for my business, okay? My credit score go down, dramatically go down. 815, 620. But the lender, the building is 4 million, okay? The lender, they didn't know that there are some company, you pay them, and I only update all the payment, the agreement, invoice of the 100 phone line, T-Mobile, everything. You update, and in 3 days is passed again between 620 and 770. And that is because I love the idea that people understand how much value has a room like this. Because if you want to be a real estate investor, you need to understand how you can use your money or your money use you. And that is because I love the idea that credit score is magic in USA. I'm Italian, okay? It doesn't exist this in Italy. It doesn't exist. And I want to tell this finally one time forever. It's not real estate magic in USA. It's the financial system magic in USA. I invested in Dubai, India, Brazil, Argentina, UK. You can find deal in any part of the world. But if in 27 years in Italy, over 1,000 employees, I never own 25 property, never over 25 property. In USA, in 6 years, 0 property, 500 property, is because it's magic, the financial system. And for this, I push everybody, prepare yourself, invest money, find a mentor, and learn how you can use your credit score. This is me, Giuseppe. Back to you, Don.
Thank you so very much, Giuseppe. Hey, Credit Goddess, listen, one thing that you haven't mentioned, and there's a reason why, but I need you to get back right on. I'm not trying to take you off track here, but because I want to add this little bit, okay? We're in an era right now where interest rates are going up. Interest rates are going up. And we're going to get you in a position, Credit Card is going to get you in a position to get the credit. But I'm here to tell you, you don't have to worry about the interest rate. Just like the credit score is actually a liar, the interest rate is a liar as well. And with the P.I.L.L method, we're going to show you that if you have, you're getting a mortgage like at 7% or 7.23, we're going to show you how to treat that interest rate like it was 1% or 2%. Don't worry about interest rates. Okay. Worry about interest cost and how to mitigate interest costs. In fact, I'm going to share this with you. And if you want to know more about it, you got to hit me up on Instagram because this is Credit Goddess's show. OK, if you want to know more about this, hit me up on Instagram and say, listen, I want to know more about how. And here's what I'm trying to say. If you get a high interest rate, it is actually easier. I will repeat that. It is easier to pay the loan off cheaper and faster at the higher interest rates if you can afford the payment. That is a fact. So don't be afraid of these higher interest rates. Reach out and find out what you can do about it after you level up to get the credit. All right, Credit Goddess, I'm sure you're ready to get back in here. Talk to us now.
Absolutely. All right. So, yeah. If you guys wanted to know about, the credit repair industry is not, it has this good, bad, and the ugly into it. But if you guys understand that you control what they see on your consumer report, because I want you guys to understand. It's like the 3 credit reporting agency that we know of, because there's so many more that are out there. You got LexisNexis, you got ARS, you got Innovis, you got all CoreLogic, you have all these different credit reporting agencies, and they report what they report. They just consume data. They consume data about you. So if you are in their ecosystem where they're reporting information about you, you want to make sure that the information that they're reporting about you is accurately reporting and verifiable and report in a timely manner, right? Because you have to understand that they are keying in this information. It's humans like you and I that are, keying this information is that their position is data entry. So whatever information that they're receiving from the creditors, collection agencies, they're just keying this information in. So you have to understand that there is room for data error, right? So once you know that, then you would take control and go and look into your credit report. The first thing you want to do, especially for those that don't want to pay credit monitoring, go to annualcreditreport.com. That's the first place that you want to go, and pull all 3 of your credit reports. They have changed their automated system. They're actually making sure that you are who you are. Like, they're going to send a 6-digit or 5-digit code to your cell phone or your email address to know that you are who you are, right? So they're going through some extra security measures just to get your consumer report, because it's that important, right? It's that serious. So when you go to annualcreditreport.com, you want to make sure. Thanks to all those that are texting, sending their email address and name. If you guys need to send your name and email address to the 888, I think Donna posted in and Gregory is in the chat. If you guys want to speak to me about your credit report, send your name and email address to 888-557-5778. Or you guys can go to the link at the top, click the number and send that information in. I do have a Facebook group. It's in that link above. If you scroll down, you see my community, but I'm actually moving my community off of Facebook. So if you guys want to get updated with that move, just join the Facebook group and I will enter you into my email and let you know when my community is up and running. So go ahead and do that. All right.
Thank you very much
Rose,
for that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Who is that?
Karine.
it's Karine. We had a question in the chat asking about what amends mean. Can you explain for the room?
Oh, okay. Yes, yes. Make amends. Making amends is just like, okay, in a relationship. Okay. The relationship ended, let's say you cheated. Let's say you cheated in your relationship. And this is how I identify late payments. Late payments is like cheating in your relationship. Cheating in that relationship that you have with that the bank, that credit card company, when you're late, right? So when you treat late payments as you're cheating, it follows up with the goodwill letter. How many of you guys heard about the goodwill letter? Do you guys want to know what a goodwill letter is?
We most certainly do.
Okay. A goodwill letter, if you guys actually read the letter, you're pretty much explaining what had happened to you. You also identifying the fact that you love their service and you appreciate the opportunity and how long you've been with them. You want to identify all of that. And also you want to apologize for missing that payment. And if by any chance they can waive that late payment and forgive you, just like a relationship, right? Because you want to make amends. So if that relationship ended because of the continuous late payments, whether it was 60 days or 90 days, some creditors have their own way of ending a relationship. I know Chase would end a relationship after you're 60 days late, so if the relationship ended because of the missed payments, when that is on your credit report, they're either going to do 2 things. It's either going to stay on the credit report with the original creditor, or they may have charged it off. If you guys know the difference between a collections and a charge off is when they write it off on their taxes as a loss, and they wrote it off on their taxes, so they would send you a 1099-C in the mail, because the money that you should have paid them, you actually kept it because you didn't give it away. So that's actually earned income. So you have to pay taxes on that, right? So we're not going to go in depth about what you do with that process, but that's a charge off. And a collection is they're still collecting on the account. Now, if it's a collection with a different party than the original party, right? Let's say Chase, if it's ABC Collections, you have to identify whether they're a second party or a third party collection company. Second party meaning that they service the debt or they service the account to a outside source, but it's still connected with the original party. So you need to identify before you make any payments, because this is what happens, you guys. I've been in this for 6 years. What happens is people would just pull their credit report and they would find the contact information about that collection agency, especially if they come into money, and they would send money to that collection agency. When it's a collection agency, you got to identify whether they're servicing or if they bought the debt, right? And debts get passed around like hot potatoes once it leaves the original creditor. When it leaves the original creditor, it could have been passed around 4 times. And what happens, they have to actually pay the credit reporting agency to report that on your credit. Sometimes there could be a ghost debt out there that you don't know about, but the moment you try to buy a house, all of a sudden that debt pops up. How many times that happened to somebody? You went and bought a house. Any homeowners that went and bought a house and the debt just popped out of nowhere when you were trying to buy the house? That and that's why I say when the debt comes off your credit, or when account comes off your credit, it doesn't mean that you're no longer obligated to the debt. And that's the reason I say that, because I've seen it. Mortgage brokers send files to me and say, can you get this off? And again, I can't just do something in a short period of time, because there's a conversation, there's an argument when we start disputing or challenging anything. So that's why you can't make guarantees, and why the credit repair industry have the ugly side to it, because people would do illegal ways of getting stuff off when they claim identity theft, when indeed you were not a victim of identity theft.
All right, so
And
let's
that's
talk
what,
about that. Let's talk about that for
okay.
just a second, Credit Goddess.
Okay.
So what you're saying is, listen, folks, you want to go to the doctor and get like a yearly checkup before something serious happens. All right, when you get a serious illness, and you want to get rid of that illness quickly. It's not going to happen. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some effort. But a lot of these things could have been managed early or totally avoided if you had gone to the doctor early and just got a regular checkup before it got bad. So what Credit Goddess is telling you, work with her before it gets bad, and you won't have to call her in a panic and say, listen, I want to buy a house in 3 months. How can I get my credit in shape? She's going to say, yeah, well, you better look at trying to get that house a year from now.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So now is the time, folks, to start leveling up your credit. Don't come in here 1 month to go, 2 months to go, 3 months to go before you need to do something and expect an expert to come in and help you get to where you need to go. Ain't gonna happen. Do it now before you need it. And Credit Guys, we have a question on the stage. We got Miss Dorothy up here. Miss Dorothy, did you have a question or a comment?
Yes, I do. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, P.I.L.L Method, as always. Mr. Don, this is on fire. Thank you for having Credit Goddess. She is definitely living up to her name at every time. Thanks for breaking this down to the basic fundamentals. So I know that you are a licensed NAV lender. So I'm in a process of working on some of the parts of the personal credit. I want to know that how can you level up parts of nav, like working on building like with the tier system, and also using nav, like I'm able with the nav system to check the business credit and see what's on there. But what kind of things can you do with nav so that you're not disrupting the personal side that you're working on? Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, so we're actually tapping into the business credit, which we should go to that side because we got 30 minutes left, and I don't want you guys to kind of miss how to be in the best position for business credit as well, because it all starts with your personal credit. So I'll wrap this part up. You guys can tap in with me on Tuesday. I do the first Tuesday of every month in the Lunch and Learn. So if you guys are not following me, definitely follow me there, and I'll, pick up the conversation there. But that's a good question, Dorothy. But before we start, I would like to welcome Credit Ninja. I did ask her to come through so that way she can kind of share with you guys her testimonial, because this lady is amazing, and she's in the credit space as well, but she's high profile, y'all. But if you want to live that lifestyle, like, credit is a lifestyle, is not a temporary fix. It's actually a lifestyle, because you're actually being scored. And I'm not sure if you guys heard of this, when they say they're about to bring the social credit score soon. And I know a lot of people like, no, 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 and they don't want that. But let me tell you, the credit score is actually the score of your, like, how you manage your money, is your relationship money, basically. If you were to ask me, right, Karine, right, Credit Ninja, is a relationship with your money. So if they come up with the social
Amen.
score, okay, that's how you socialize with individuals. But here we're talking about how you socialize and the relationships that you have with your bank and with the creditors, right? So if you're good with that, then you're good to go. But Credit Ninja, you can go and introduce yourself.
Yeah,
And if you
good
want,
morning.
yeah.
God, I'm so blessed to spend time with you on a Sunday. And I know that you reached out yesterday traveling. I got home really late and I threw my back out, Karine. You'll have to put me on a stretcher when we go to Duran Duran concert today. And yeah, I woke up at 5 o'clock, 5:30, and of course, Nelson pings me in Millionaire Marathon, and I just sit there and I fell back asleep because I was taking medication last night. I was really drowsy. So I finally just woke up again about 20 minutes ago. But of course, Anthony's dragging me to do my share because I've been quiet on the app. He said, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I pulled my app, my app, my back because it's called credibility. I showed up because I had to be somewhere in Houston for an event, and then I didn't realize how big Texas. Did you know Texas was really big?
Yes.
I
Yes,
can't.
we
I
do.
didn't know that, Karine. I'm very bougie. I have people drive me around, and this time I'm like, what do you call it? Galveston, Texas. It's not in Houston. It's another island. I didn't realize there was. Okay, guys.
Sorry.
I know. I'm like that because sometimes Karine knows this. Like, I don't know I flunked geography, guys. I flunked geography. I would get on a private jet and then I show up at a place. I'm like, oh, is that where like Montana is? I thought Montana was next to Vegas, but it was somewhere else. And I wake up from the jet and I'm like, okay, that's where I'm at. So I had to rent a car. I had to rent a car and I didn't realize I always make plans at the last minute. So I was like, okay, am I gonna go? I was on the fence. I'm like, I gotta meet Karine on Sunday. So going to Houston on Friday and coming back Saturday night, I'm not sure. What if I missed my flight? Because all these airlines are so funny these days. They keep canceling flights and all that. So I have a point to this story and how that relates with credit, guys. Um, so I'm like, I got to get a car rental, and all the cars are gone at Hertz because I'm a President Circle over at Hertz, and President Circle gives you status so that way you can choose any car and it's very flexible. But here's the point: I don't care how much status you have. Sometimes they run out of cars. I lock back in. There are no cars in Houston airport, none whatsoever. I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? So I also have status over at National, but I never rented from National. All I know is that I have what do you call Emerald Elite, which is the highest status. It's not that I spent a lot of money there, but what I did was I status matched it. So in the credit game, it is a game, guys. Let me repeat, credit is a game. You have to know all the little ins and out with credit, and it starts with your personal credit. When you get really optimal personal credit, you are now able to have relationship with these banks, and they give you preference. So if you know you're trying to get a car, if you have status, trust me, they're going to give you a car before they give a car to someone that doesn't have status. That's why in the credit world, it doesn't discriminate, only based on your relationship with the banks, because your credit is at a high score, and that you built it over the years. And they don't care, they don't look at like where you live. They look at, okay, well, this person has an over an 800 score. They have a relationship with the bank for X number of years, and they never missed a payment, and they increase their limits every year. So that's the behavior. You remember, your score is all behavior, because that's the only way that they can judge you. And so when I needed to get a car, and I'm like, I have status at National. I never rented from them. So I call my friend Ben, Kareem, Ben's Big Deal. And he's a friend that we made on this app. And I go, Ben, no cars left in freaking Houston. What do I do? He goes, you have National, right? I go, yeah, I do. He goes, you have any status? I go, absolutely. I know the game. I got status, even though I've never written in one. And I tell, so give me the rundown. What do I do? He goes, oh my God, it's very similar to Hertz. You just walk up there and you pick any car. And if you have high status, you can pick any car in that particular, area. And I'm like, great. I go, so again, you're saving time, right? And then if you have the right credit cards and all that insurance, when you check out and you have all these boxes, you have to get insurance. Guess what? If you have the right credit card, you don't need to check any of those boxes. I put it on a Chase Freedom, and it covers the for damage, right? So all these little things you learn over time, but you gotta align yourself with the right people. It's knowledge, it's about access, and it's about options. If I didn't have credit, when in 2008, when I lost all my credit, I lost a lot of money, and I had a debit card. Guys, life is different with a debit card. I'm going to tell you. And when you go up there, you're like, you have a $500 debit card. They're going to hold a deposit for maybe $300-400, and then the car rental was like 100 something. You got no money left. You're in panic mode, because you're thinking, now I got to go to the hotel that I'm checking in, and at the time I could use cash. But nowadays, did you know that hotels, they don't take cash as deposit anymore, especially during COVID? After COVID, it's all required a credit card. And at the car rental, they can run your credit if you have a debit card, because they're thinking, I'm giving this person a $30,000-40,000 car, and they're putting down a debit card. In their mind, they're thinking, well, if you had a credit card, you would put a credit card down. So if you don't, guess what happens? They're gonna, right, Ice? They're gonna
That's
run you.
right.
They're gonna. There's a sign that says, "We have the right to run your credit if you use a debit card." Oh my God! Now, guess what? Now you're stuck, because all of your funds are held up, and if it happens to be the weekend, sometimes it takes up to a week to get that money back into your bank. You're in a lot of pain, especially if you're in a hotel. If you're in a hotel and they froze all your money because it's all deposit, what if you have to, there's incidentals that went over that amount? They're kicking you out of that hotel. I'm giving you the real story, guys. This happens in real, nobody wants to talk about this stuff. They're pushing it under the rug, but it is a lifestyle. That's what goddess has said. It is a lifestyle. It is about option. It is the ultimate freedom of all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right here. We're just past the top of the hour. We're in the club, Mortgage Syndicate Club this morning. We're partnering. The P.I.L.L method is partnering with them and getting this information out. You've heard from Credit Goddess. You've heard from the Credit Ninja on this, and in fact, in the chat, Karine says, "Listen, I'm getting ready to fly out today. I'm going to go to a concert that Credit Ninja just talked about." She says, "Listen, I'm going to fly for free, all because I have credit status. All right, got credit status. I'm flying for free to a concert and flying back the same day for free." Can Are you hearing, folks? This is the kind of stuff you can do once you level up. And not only that, if they have to stay over at if they have to lay over, they're not laying over in out there with everybody else standing in long lines for food. No, they're taking their credit card status and they're going straight to the lounge where they can relax. There's plenty of chargers. There's free food. They're doing all of this off their credit card just because they have. Listen, I've tried it. I've done it, and it works. So listen, we want you to be able to live and do things the same way. Level up, folks. Level up. So go ahead and mash that green mansion at the top, and join this club. Follow the club. Follow all your moderators. Follow me. Follow Credit Guys. Everybody on the stage here has information. Read their bios and get this information and level up for yourself. And not only that, but read the chat, read some of, and then follow some of the people that are next to you, and even in the listening lounge. There's information out here, folks, and we're giving this out for free. And Credit Goddess is showing you the game, how to level up to get your credit. And Credit Goddess, could you? I don't know if you had time to touch on this. I don't know where you stuck a pin in it, but would you have time to talk about how I can get my credit? I can get a credit card or the credit I want in seconds instead of waiting in days, because I don't want a human being to look at my credit application. I want a computer to approve me in seconds. Can you talk about that after you finish your last point?
Okay, so are you talking about like getting approved for a credit card?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I don't want to miss Dorothy's question because that was leading into business credit.
Go right ahead and finish that.
Okay, but that's on business credit. But I do want to answer Dwayne because that will kind of lock everything up, and then we can move on over there. And he asked, how do I get a credit status? And the status, again, is all a matter of like who you're doing business with. You want to do business with major banks, American Express, Chase, Citi, you got Discover. They have products that you can graduate up to. I'm not sure if you have any of those reporting on your credit, but this is what we're talking about optimizing. Dwayne, do you have any of the major banks reporting on your credit? It's all a matter of who you're who you're associated with. I use the analogy high value man, high value woman. What's a high value woman? What's a high value man? And whatever you come up with as far as like how you describe them, you want to be that person too. You want to get in that circle, right? So it's all a matter of who you're associated with. So when you look at your consumer profile or your consumer report, can you say that you have a relationship with any of these banking institutions? But is that all of your cards? How many cards do you have? A lot of people like to stick with one or two. You want to be like, you want to have about 10 accounts reporting, about 5 or 7 credit cards if you can, right? You want to kind of disassociate yourself with like the subprime cards. You want to level up, which is why I say this type of stuff, like this type of the credit game is all about moving strategically. It's all about moving strategically and getting aligned with the creditors and the financial institutions, so that way you can then level up to to the business credit, which we'll then talk about then. Because I also partnered with a company that actually helps startup companies get access to these type of cards, so that way they can use that towards their business. So if you don't have if you haven't established business credit, and let's tap into that. If you haven't established business credit, you can tap into business credit in 5 different ways. And this is on the personal side too, but we're going to talk about the business side. And a lot of you guys get confused with, okay, so I need business credit so I can invest in real estate. It's like, okay, well, do you know what business credit is? Because just because you have a business credit card doesn't mean that you have business credit. Credit, if you guys look up the dictionary, but I'm going to just, phrase in my own word. Credit is trust. That's what that is. Credit is trust. If we look at credibility, like Credit Ninja mentioned, her credibility. What is credibility? We know about street credibility, right? What is street credibility? For anybody that was in the streets, how do you build street credibility? And I'm sure what how you describe how you build street credibility can align with how you build bank credibility. You want to make sure that your business is fundable. And when we're talking about being fundable, what does that look like? So we're talking about credibility. Credibility is someone that is disciplined. Okay, reciprocal. It is reciprocated. It's about discipline. It's about responsibility. It's about integrity, y'all. Integrity. Y'all know what integrity is. It's about integrity. That's number one on the list. It's about being loyal. It's about following through. Yes, Steve, it's about following through. How many people can you say in your life that you can say, if they say they're going to do something, they do it? Women, if you have a man that say they're going to do something and they do it, don't you find security in that? When a man say, I'm going to do this on Monday, I'm going to do this on Tuesday, and he does it when Tuesday come around with no excuse, don't you find security in that? So when we're talking about credibility, that's what I mean. That's how you build status, Dwayne. It's credibility. So the relationships that you're building with the banks and the financial institutions, you know the principle. You follow through with that. No excuse. You know how many people that just have no idea how credit works. And when they tap into that credit card, they go and run it up. And when they can't pay it, they say, oh, you know what? They're going to get it when they get it. Is that credibility? Being punctual, right? Is that credibility? That person lost all credibility if you don't follow through. That person lost all credibility when they don't do their part. Somebody said it's reciprocal. It's reciprocal. You're going to reap the benefits if you do your part, and vice versa. They're getting what they're getting out of the deal, and you're getting what you're getting out of the deal. So that is how you build credibility. And I'm speaking on a relationship point of view, so that way I can get every single last one of you to understand how credit works. I don't want you guys to focus so much on the score. I want you guys to focus on the fundamentals and what is expected from you. I can't do that for you. I can only coach you, but I can't do that for you. And this is the reason why, if anyone is wondering, how can I help? Because I got a lot of back channel where people say, how can you help me with credit? I'm going to coach you, and you need to implement, especially if you're trying to get to the status that Credit Ninja just mentioned. It's a lifestyle. It's not an overnight thing. It's not. And just because you have a 800 credit score or 850 credit score still doesn't mean that you're going to get approved. It's just a book cover. But when they open up that book, what does that story say about you? And it needs to be a long and extensive and a really good one. That's what they're looking for, especially if you're trying to level up to business credit. Now let's tap into business credit. Dorothy, you mentioned about NAV, and I know a lot of you guys, I don't know how many of you guys have NAV, but I am a NAV business loan broker, and NAV has a product, and it's a credit monitoring system, and it pulls information from the 3 credit reporting agency, including your personal credit as well. So you get your Dun and Brad, you got your Experian, and you got your Equifax. NAV does not, you don't, okay, let's say this. You have to get your Dun and Brad profile set up. You need to get your Equifax and your Experian for it to be pulled by NAV, if you get what I'm saying. Now, the benefits of NAV is that they have 2 plans. They have the $39 plan and the $49 plan. Boy, you guys are responding. Thank you. They have the $49 plan and the $39 plan. And those 2 plans, anytime you make your on-time payment or your subscription payment, it will actually report as a trade line. All right. So if you're trying to establish business credit, you need to establish relationships with other vendors, especially for those that are starting off. For those that are starting out, establishing credit, you need to have trade lines. the types of trade lines that you have on your personal credit, you need to have trade lines on your business credit as well. That's how you establish credit. So many of you guys are in different industries. Many of you guys have different types of businesses. You want to do business with other business. That now we're talking about business credit. On the personal side, it was business to consumer. You have the creditors, you have the loans, you have banking institutions that was doing business with you as a consumer. Now you're leveling up to business. Now you're doing business with other businesses. So you're establishing credibility with other businesses. And then the next one is business to government, but we're not talking about government contracting at this point, but that is a level up to government contracting because you do need business credit. Okay? So all of this plays a role, and why we always say it starts with personal credit. Because once you understand the game there, and understand the principles there, then you apply the same principles on the business side. So once you're doing business with other vendors and leveling up the tiers, now you're established business credit. Now your business credit you build with on your end based on what you need for your business. Okay, so that's how NAV works. NAV pulls the information from the 3 credit reporting agency, including your personal, and it gives you your score. Just like if you were to apply for myfico.com, Identity IQ, ID Club, Experian.com, they're pulling information from the different credit reporting agency and giving you your credit report, including your scores. That's the reason why when you go to annualcreditreport.com, you won't find a score there, because these are credit reports directly from the credit reporting agencies. Okay, so I hope that helped you understand NAV and the importance of NAV. Having a NAV subscription actually keeps or actually reports as a trade line, so that way you're not feeling like you're wasting $40 or $50 for no reason, because you do need approximately a good 10 trade lines before we then start talking about funding. But we're not going to go into that point there.
Hey,
We're going to
credit,
keep that. So go ahead.
credit goddess, what is NAB?
Yeah. Oh, NAV. NAV is a company. It's just a company, and their mission is to help reduce the death rate of small businesses by providing funding options, resources, and education as well on how to stay afloat in business. So while other traditional banks and banking companies says no, they will say yes, because they offer alternative funding, which is like given by private banks or private lenders that traditional banks do not do. The difference between when you're going to traditional and non-traditional, traditional is directly with the banks, right? But when you're going non-traditional, these are like private, and I got ML Billion up here. These are private investors like ML Billion that puts in, and don't kill me on this because I forgot what that is. Who manages the funding? ML, you want to mention license who? License what? ML Billion. You want to put your money into. Go ahead, ML Billion. Wait, what do you say?
Licensed collateralized lenders.
There you go. Licensed collateralized lender. So ML Billion is an investor. He puts his money into it, and I'll have him, if y'all want to hear his point, I'll have him explain that to you, and I'm gonna bring up what
Wait,
Flame
wait,
was
just
here.
wait, just a second. Wait, just a second. Say, listen. Well, this is supposed to be a 2-hour room, and I'm already going to be in trouble. So here's what we're going to do. The folks online, we are going to at the end of the 2 hours, the folks online that are watching us live on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and on Twitter, we're going to have to let you go at the bottom of the hour. So if you want to continue the conversation, come on in here to Clubhouse. And if you don't have Clubhouse, download it and find us. You'll find us in the Mortgage Syndicate room. So you want to come on over. We've got just a couple of seconds left here. And we got good information, and we just got some new moderators on the stage to help talk about this subject. Credit Goddess, do you have some additional time? If not, I understand.
Listen, we can go all the way through. You know that.
Come on,
So
come on now, come on. So that's what we're talking about. Folks, listen, you've been in the mortgage syndicate all this morning getting this information, and this information has been brought to you by the P.I.L.L Method Club. So follow the mortgage syndicate, follow the P.I.L.L Method Club as well, and then follow all of your moderators. You're going to get some really great information. And so, folks, so that we can properly say goodbye to everyone who is online watching us, please know this, that we're going to be right back here on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, we're going to be talking about these high interest rates again, and how on Friday we talked about how real estate agents can make more money in this climate, teaching their clients how these higher interest rates can actually work to their benefit. We're going to do the same kind of show on Wednesday for MLOs, mortgage loan originators, how you can help your clients level up and how you can sell more by helping them to understand that they don't have to be afraid of 7% interest rates, because it is actually easier to save money and to pay loans off faster at the higher interest rates than it is the lower ones. We're going to show you how all of that stuff fits together and why we have been bamboozled into thinking that the lower interest rates are the better ones and the higher interest rates are the worst ones. So listen, folks, we're going to hear from Dr. Eric Thomas one more time, and how you can level up your credit situation. Once you get the credit, you want to be able to pay it off cheaper and faster by getting your savings and earnings report from the P.I.L.L method. And you go to ice10k.com, ice10k.com, and click on that button that says Get a Savings and Earnings Report, and fill out all the information, follow all of the instructions, and someone from my staff will give you a call and set up a consultation for you, and you will know the month, day, and year you can be debt-free. So for everybody online, come on over to Clubhouse, and we're going to do an extended version of this show because this credit situation is just too good to let go. So online, everybody, we'll see you later. Come back on Wednesday where you can learn more about how to teach your clients, if you're a mortgage lender, how to navigate these high interest rates. Goodbye to everybody online. See you on Wednesday. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, and our team created the most powerful money management, wealth building, debt elimination system ever created. At our recent seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, the keynote speech was delivered by the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas. E.T., as he's also known, mentioned he paid off his mortgage in 4 years using the P.I.L.L Method. I invite you to watch and listen.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Did you hear that? No mortgage, no stress. If you would like to become debt and mortgage free within an average of 7 to 9 years by cutting your interest costs by up to 75%, go to pillmethod.com and request a savings and earnings report today.